Easy Elite English. This is Lesson 7. We will learn about tone, accent, fluency, and phonetics. Tone. A rising tone is for questions or interrogatives, while a falling tone is for statements. Rising tone. What did the teacher say? Falling tone. The teacher told us to go home. There are exceptions. It should be emphasized that questions in conversations need not be grammatical interrogative forms. Let's repeat. Questions in conversations need not be grammatical interrogative forms. Forms like, "You're going to the party?" is a question if delivered in a rising tone. In fact, it is more common in conversations to use statements delivered in rising tone for informal questions. They are as much colloquially correct and permissible as the more formal structure, in which we ask, "Are you going to the party?" Practice with correct tone. Work in pairs if possible. Use rising tone for questions and falling tone for the answers. May I have a look at it? Have it with pleasure. Could you tell me the way to the taxi stand? It is just across the road, near the tram depot. Could you please tell me the time? It's almost 8. Would you prefer tea or coffee? I'd have coffee, please. How long would you take to reach here, Sam? I'd be there in about 10 minutes at most. When does your vacation start, John? It starts next week. What do you eat for lunch, Mother? It's curried mutton. Who's on the phone, son? It's Aunt Polly. You're going to the party? You may be sure I am. Now we will practice using question tags. Examples. You're coming with me, aren't you? You would help me, wouldn't you? I can't help it. Can I? Pause the video, give the answers, and resume the video to check. You aren't going, are you? He will come. Won't he? They didn't do it, did they? You are joking, aren't you? I can do the work, can't I? The shirt wasn't torn, was it? She is intelligent, isn't she? He is not very polite, is he? A positive statement takes a negative tag, and vice versa. For example, "You aren't going" is a negative statement, which takes the positive tag, "Are you?" This is made by removing "not" from "aren't" and adding "you." Then it becomes, "You aren't going, are you?" Again, "He will come, won't he?" Here, "not" is added to "will" to make "won't," and "he" is added. Similarly, we say, "They didn't do it, did they?" You are joking, aren't you? A positive statement takes a negative tag, and vice versa. Using this rule, we can make more, like, "I can do the work, can't I? The shirt wasn't torn, was it? She is intelligent, isn't she? He isn't very polite, is he?" Some characteristics of natural speech style. We will discuss some ways to improve fluency and clarity. We will learn about pauses, contractions, pronunciation, phonetics, and style. First, we will learn about pause. Pause means clarity. Pause means control over voice. Pause only after meaningful groups of words. Example: I went to the market to buy fruits for my son, who is down with viral fever. The first meaningful group of words is I went, but it is so short that a pause here is not necessary. However, for beginners, a very slight pause, which is hardly perceptible to the uninitiated, may be permitted. The second pause could be after I went to the market. Here, a short but more tangible pause is recommended. The next meaningful part is I went to the market to buy fruits. But if there has been a pause after I went to the market, then the phrase to buy fruits is very short. As before, a pause is not necessary, but for beginners, a very slight pause may be permitted. The next pause could be after I went to the market to buy fruits for my son. Here, a pause is strongly recommended. Then the rest of the sentence may be said together, or an almost imperceptible pause may be allowed after who is down in case of beginners. Indicating short optional pause by slash and recommended or longer pause by double slash, we get I went to the market to buy fruits for my son, who is down with viral fever. Try saying these sentences with gradually increasing speed. Introduce the right pause at the appropriate places. Today, at about 10 o'clock, I think I saw you walking past. I think we can manage it on our own. I think we can manage it by ourselves. All of us, without any exception, will die one day. Please, could you do it for me? A boy or a girl must always obey the parents. Once, many years ago, there lived a demon called XYZ. I think he isn't a man who would do such a thing. Pauses. Pauses range from small, insignificant, optional breath pauses to distinct and deliberate or compulsory pauses, such as at the end of real or supposed punctuation marks, as discussed earlier. In addition, pauses are required and recommended as desirable for better expression and clarity in the following situations. 1. Where there is or should be a comma, a full stop, etc. 2. When it is an unsure statement based on estimation, approximation, or intelligent guess. Example: when did you come? I came about 20 minutes ago. Why is he not coming to office? He is, I think, in a bit of problem. 3. Before an overemphasized word. It is on the fridge, not inside it. 4. Deliberate pauses with controlled speed and voice indicate seriousness, urgency, or need to impress it upon the listener. Example: I told you not to touch the vase. Now let us discuss about contractions used in speaking. The most commonly used contractions are didn't, wise, wattle, weird, while, aren't, who'll, I'll, hadn't, don't, when's, where'll, I'll, he'd, can't, why's, didn't, you'd, you've, won't, whose, while. Contractions. Contractions are most commonly used in speaking. In fact, They form a distinguishing feature of natural speech. See a short story or a novel, contractions are almost exclusively found in dialogues and conversations. I will becomes I'll. I am becomes I am. I have becomes I've. Will not becomes won't. You have becomes you've. He is or he has becomes he's. I had or I would becomes I'd. I cannot becomes I can't. He is not becomes he isn't. Make a list of such contractions you have come across in books. Apostrophe has two functions. First, to show possessive case, like in Tom's pencil, and to show omission of letters in contractions. So can't represents cannot. Use of contractions like can't, don't, won't, I'm, I've, etc. Note that I stands for I would as well as I had. He stands for both he is and he has. The context will decide the correct grammatical form. Say the following using contractions. First, without using contractions, I have a pen. He is a boy. I will not take long. You cannot run away. He has not finished his work. I did not go to work today. I will meet you tomorrow. Will not you go to the party? You are really very kind. It is an interesting story. Now using contractions, the same could be said as I have a pen. He is a boy. I won't take long. You can't run away. He hasn't finished his work. I didn't go to work today. I'll meet you tomorrow. Won't you go to the party? You're really very kind. It's an interesting story.